All right. Welcome to episode 100 of the Jake Blanchard podcast. I got a really special episode today. I told my kids when I started this podcast, I said, hey, by about episode 100, I'll have you on the show. They were asking me, Dad, can I come on the show? Can I come on the show? It was the early days of the podcast. I said, episode 100. We're here now. We're here at episode 100. I tell you what, as a father, I'm extremely proud of my children. I post their achievements every now and then on social media. I talk them up all the time to my friends or anyone who would listen. And I'm excited to have them on today. My son, Easton, he's 8 years old. He's into lacrosse and skateboarding. He likes school, which is pretty cool. He's one of those kids that reads chapter books at night all the time by himself. He's here to talk about life in general as well. And then my otter, my little otter, little otter, my daughter, Ada, she's 6 years old. She's fantastic as well. She's my princess, Ada. She's into cheer camp and coloring in school. And we're going to talk about recess and art and her teacher and all the things that fill her cup as well. So we have a special episode for you today. And I'm going to try to do these for every centennial episode, every 100th episode of the podcast. I would love to have my kids come on and talk a little bit about our life, our family life, and those types of things. So starting first, I've got my son, Easton, here. Easton, welcome to the show, man. I'm excited to have you on. You're excited to podcast with me today?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about first, man? We've got lacrosse and skateboarding, school, life in general. What's on your mind, son?
Lacrosse.
All right, son, you've been playing lacrosse for a couple of years now. What do you like most about lacrosse?
That would be probably just playing the game.
Just playing the game. What interested you in the sport? And maybe explain the sport to people who don't understand what lacrosse is.
Lacrosse is a sport with a stick and a ball. You have 4 players on the field. I play in U8, so it's about 4. And, well, you try and score.
Try and score. That's awesome, man. And you had a game this last weekend on Saturday. Yesterday? How'd you feel that you did in that game?
Good. I got I'm doing the tallies, and I think I got 25 tallies because I scored 2 goals and I picked up the ground ball 25 times.
All right. That's an important thing in this league right now. He's going after ground balls. That's the biggest thing. Get those balls into the stick. Try to make some plays and then pass it around a little bit. Try to get a goal or 2. When you score a goal, how's it feel? What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about my accomplishment of doing that.
Yeah. How's that make you feel in particular?
Just happy.
Good. Very good. One of the things that I admire about you, son, is that you're really driven. You're driven to do things on your own. I didn't really have that when I was a kid. I didn't always think about getting up in the morning. Sometimes you're doing push-ups. Sometimes you're out in the yard running around doing laps, climbing on the climbing dome that we have outside, or just taking shots, lacrosse shots. But the thing that I've always been really proud or I've also admired about you is your skateboarding. You started that at 3 years old and you're starting to get kind of good at it. Tell me a little bit about skateboarding. What's that do for you? What excites you about skateboarding?
Well, I like skateboarding because you can do cool tricks and you get to roll around in the skate park in Middleton, Star and.
Yeah. What's your favorite trick that you can do?
Probably ollie because that helps a lot of people with better tricks.
And then, I've been able to watch your accomplishments. I've also seen your failures. I've seen as you fall down. I've seen you take hard hits against the concrete. What drives you to get up and keep going?
Like I love to never give up. And you know how I like grind on the 50-50 grind? Um, I kept falling like a million times, but I said to myself every time I fell, I'm not going to leave this skate park till I nail it.
Positive mental attitude, young man. Positive mental attitude. How do you keep that mindset? How do you, when you wake up in the morning, like what are you thinking about during the day? Are you really purposeful about your day? Are you thinking about what you want to accomplish? Like, how do you organize that?
I think when I wake up, whatever comes my way in the day, I'm going to attack it.
Oh, well said, young man. I love that mindset. Just attacking the day.
Or just beat it in a battle.
Say that again.
Or just beat it in a battle.
Yeah. Beat it in a battle. Just attack the day, you know, like a sword. I love it. I love it. Hey man, I haven't been 8 years old in a long time. I haven't been in second grade in a long time. Maybe tell me a little bit about school. Ted, what's school life like these days?
It's really fun. My favorite part of school is math. It's one of the only subjects that's really challenging for me, and I want to get good at it.
That's awesome. And one of the things that I thought was particularly hard for you as a student is like in kindergarten, you had to start wearing a mask during the back end of your kindergarten school year. You wore a mask during first grade and most part of first grade. In second grade, you haven't really had to wear a mask as much in school, but maybe think think about it as a kid. What's it like to have a year and a half where you had to wear a mask all the time in school? Talk to me a little bit about masks.
They're stupid. I hate them, and they do nothing. The holes in them are so tiny. Bacteria and germs, and including the virus, could get through them. Masks don't help.
That's one of those things. Well, I appreciate your honesty and your perspective. I think that there's certainly some masks out there, like those N95 masks, that might be a little bit helpful. But certainly, I'm sure you saw kids, touching their masks with their hands or using the same mask every day, and it's got to be kind of crazy to have to do that or go through that every day and then try to focus on your schoolwork. How'd you push through that? What advice would you give to other kids?
I just sometimes I took a breather. I just took off my mask and then I put it back on so the teachers don't catch me because they get so mad when there is a mask. When someone is not wearing a mask, especially my art, music, and drama teacher, if you even took it off for like 5 seconds, she would get mad. She is so sensitive.
Yeah, and I think I think it's an important discussion to have. You and I are having a pretty candid discussion here. You've got your opinions that you're putting out there as far as masks. I think as a parent, certainly a difficult thing to navigate. Right, you want to comply to the policies of the school, and you want to empathize with the science that they're referencing. I think at the same time, after about a year and a half, 2 years of this, we're kind of looking around saying, what really was the impact of masks in schools? And I think as a society, we're starting to ask these bigger questions. Looks like the airlines may be taking the mask regulation away around April 18th. At least that was the last report that I saw. We see a lot of schools around the country lifting mask mandates, a lot of stores or a lot of cities. Maybe the virus is kind of calmed down. We're just hearing a lot less about it. So maybe some of it is some media grandstanding and some media focus, or maybe things are actually getting better, or we have clear paths of treatment. Who knows? But I appreciate your perspective on that, son. Hey, as we're starting to wrap up with your section of the podcast here, I want to talk a little bit about life in general, just life. You live out here in Middleton, Idaho. You got a pretty cushy life, man. We got a community pool out here. We got a little half-acre lot, and you got some room to run around and play. You've got some good friends and some things. what do you like most about your life? And let's talk a little bit about, your experiences as an 8-year-old young man.
My most favorite part about life is my family. I'm very lucky to be on this earth, and I gotta enjoy it while I can. Life is short, so enjoy it.
Man, that is really good, really powerful advice, man. And I think that's, for us as a family, we recently went to 2 memorial services for folks. We went to my good friend John. His father had passed away a little over a month ago, and we went to we went to John's father's, Mike's, memorial service out in Bend, Oregon, and then my jujitsu instructor, my Brazilian jujitsu instructor, a man that I care for deeply. And I'll do a Riffing and Reflections podcast and have a couple shows coming up on the actual podcast to kind of talk about Professor Keith and to talk about some of the impacts that he's had on me, on other people in the jujitsu world. But my family went to that. That was yesterday afternoon. We went straight from Easton's lacrosse game to changing in the car to get to the memorial service, to spend some time with people that I'm close to, and to grieve the loss and to celebrate the life of Professor Keith Owen, who is a fantastic man. Son, what did you learn from going to these memorial services?
That you have to respect other people and make whoever you meet, try and make them your friend, because you only get a lot of friends in life.
Wise words from a young man. Easton, we've covered some things here. We've covered lacrosse and skateboarding. We've covered school and life in general. Is there anything else that you want to say to the people while you have some of your dad's platform here on the Jake Blanchard podcast? I like your Jake Blanchard podcast shirt, by the way, too. Thanks for wearing that.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else, but let's go with Ada.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to do a little kids switch here. Man, I hope you guys enjoyed that. What a pleasure it is for me to have an opportunity to have a recorded conversation with my children on this show. I set out to talk to interesting people in the world. I set out to talk to people who make a difference or make an impact, or maybe have made a difference or impact in my life. And I tell you what, my kids have made an impact in my life on a daily basis. They are my biggest teachers. I say that all the time. I say it on the podcast all the time. My children have taught me more about myself and about life than I've ever been able to learn anywhere else. So with that, now that I have a little change up between the children here, I've got my daughter. This is Ada joining the podcast. She's a 6-year-old. She loves cheer camp. She loves coloring. She loves school. We're going to talk a little about recess, art. She might have a message for the people out there about being happy. She's currently the happiest person I know. And she's my sweet, beautiful princess ballerina, Ada. Welcome to the podcast, my sweet.
Hi.
All right. Hey, let's start with cheer camp, sweetheart. Something that you've done, dance camp. You've done that as well. You do gymnastics, you do dancing, you've done some stuff around cheerleading. What excites you about dance and cheer and gymnastics?
I like doing gymnastics a lot because when I'm older, I see a lot of girls doing backbend on beams and really cool tricks on the floors, even backflips.
So do you see yourself doing those things in the future? Like you think about, like, if I learn this now, I'll be able to do that in a couple of years.
And I also like it because the last time I went to gymnastics, the girls were doing handstand contests.
Handstand contest? What is a handstand contest? Help your dad understand.
It's where you do a handstand and see who could do it the longest, and then the next people go.
That sounds like a lot of fun, sweetheart. So you recently got to perform with the Diamond Dancers, the famous Diamond Dancers, Rocky Mountain high school here in Idaho. There was a dance camp for girls of all ages. They split them out into a couple different age groups, and you got to dance as well. What was that experience like, dancing in front of all those people? Hundreds of people were watching you. What'd that feel like?
It felt really cool because instead of being on videos in life, then you can have people see what you really can do. Because if you put things on social media, then you could do stuff that is not true, and you could just make it look real on a device.
It's a very wise 6-year-old girl here talking about the benefits of doing things for real. We have a lot of folks in the world that pretend. We have a lot of pretenders out in the world, people who use filters for their face. We've got people who pretend to be good at things or pretend to know a lot about something. And what you're saying is, come and see me for real. Come and see what I can do for real.
Yeah, because I watched a Brainchild on TV today, and the girl on Brainchild taught us that there's a girl on social media and she just makes her face look good and pretty, but she probably has a lot of pimples in real life.
That's got to be a difficult thing as a child. And that's one thing as a parent I spent some time thinking about, is like, we always want to do our best as parents to help our kids find the true beauty of who they are inside their heart, inside their soul, as opposed to worrying about what other people think about their face or their body. You should be confident. You should be self-confident in who you are. Do you feel like you're a pretty confident person, Ada?
Yeah, I feel like I'm really confident on doing stuff.
And what's your favorite thing about yourself? What do you like about yourself more than anything?
I like that I have long hair, so then Mom can do a bunch of French braids on me, and they're pretty.
And what do you think about your mom? Do you like your mom? Should we trade her out? Should we go trade out Mom for anybody else? Tell me a little bit about your mom. What you think of Mom?
I like her because she's really pretty and she does a lot of things for the family.
She sure does. She works her butt off for the family, man. I tell you what, I'm married up. I'm married out of my league. I am very fortunate and happy to have such an amazing partner in this world, not just as a life partner, my wife, but as to watch her raise our children and to watch them take little pieces of her into their life. It's a pretty phenomenal experience. Ada, you like to color. You're way better at coloring than I am. You're 6. I feel like the 6-year-old when I color with you, because you can color inside the lines and you do some really cool things with shading, and you use lots of different mediums, and you use lots of different like pencils and pens and paint and all these things. Where did your love for coloring come from, young lady?
It came from me just watching Mom do really good coloring things. When I was a baby, I started trying to color and I scribbled, but then when I got older, I watched Mom do it a lot and I tried to get it really good like her. And I feel like when I grow up, I'm gonna be really good at painting like Bob Ross.
You're going to paint like Bob Ross? I love it. As a family, just so you know, folks who are listening, every now and then we like to turn on some Bob Ross and watch him paint some happy trees. Actually, for me as a human, if I'm really stressed out in life, I watch a little bit of Bob Ross because everybody can paint. Bob truly believed that, and I truly believe that anybody can do anything that they put their mind to. And the way that Bob Ross taught the simplicity, the idea of trying to do a complex looking painting in a short period of time, and to help other people find their confidence. What an amazing person, what an amazing role model. Ada Gray, anything else on coloring?
I think that when you get outside the lines on something, if you have enough room, you should just go over it a couple times until the line that came out of it is just gone and it's just thicker than it was before.
That's like what Bob Ross says about happy little mistakes. You can make a mistake and still love your painting, right?
And you can also fix it by doing what I just said.
That's important. It's an important life lesson too. You can make little mistakes just as long as you figure out ways of fixing them along the way. Hey, you're in kindergarten. You're wrapping up your kindergarten year. You've got 2.5 months left. It's your first year of school. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, what do you like most about being in kindergarten?
I really like my teacher, and everyone should like her because she serves in the Air Force.
And what's your teacher's name?
Miss Williams.
Yeah, Miss Williams is fantastic. She's a wonderful teacher. It's been a pleasure as a parent to get to know her a little bit, and certainly thank you for your service, Miss Williams. If you happen to listen to the podcast, what do you do at recess, sweetheart? What are you out there doing on the playground?
At lunch recess, I get to go on 2 playgrounds, but at normal recess, I just get to go on one kinder one.
And what's your favorite activity to do while you're out on recess?
Jump roping.
Do you have a lot of friends that like to jump rope?
Yeah, like Zoe and Bailey.
So you're out there with your friends, you're jumping rope, you're having a good time. What's your favorite subject in school? Of all the things that you learn, what's your favorite thing to learn?
I love to do art projects. And the last time I went to school, the computer teacher was gone. So then we got to watch Bursting Bears and eat popcorn at our tables.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Fun at school. Bearstein Bears. I certainly remember the Bearstein Bears when I was going to school. Enjoyed reading those books during our reading time and all that good stuff. It's fun to know that you get to do that as well. Something that we get to share about our childhoods was the Bearstein Bears. Ada, there's a lot of folks listening in on this podcast. I'm sure you have some advice for them. As a 6-year-old, what would you like to tell adults or children or anyone listening to the podcast? You got any advice, anything to share, any life lessons from your 6 long years on this planet?
Mm-hmm. You should always be positive about stuff and try to do what you want to do in life. You should try to make goals in your life and try to complete them, and you should keep going in your life and never quit.
Wow, sweetheart. That is some powerful words coming from a 6-year-old. Hey, listen, we're just going to do kind of a short podcast here today. I am so proud of my children. I tell you what, they are fantastic young people. I would have never invited them on the show if I did not think that they would take it seriously, that they would be both of them prepared to come on the show today. As a parent, I'm getting to experience a lot of different emotions, a lot of different things as they get older. And as they mature, I mature with them in a lot of ways. And I tell you what, having this platform, having an opportunity to record things and talk to interesting people, what an honor it is to have this conversation with my children. I'm looking forward to having more in the future. And kids, just so you know, your dad loves you very much. Thanks for joining me on the show today. Thanks for all the support that you guys give me for my businesses and the podcast. You mean the absolute world to me. And you can say goodbye to the folks if you'd like.
Bye. Also, follow up on Ada's question. Her answer. A lot of things on stuff are fake. I watched something that wasn't fake on YouTube, and it was about fake things. It showed me a video on TikTok, and someone was throwing a ball somewhere and someone was dropping a ping pong ball in the cup, then it showed me behind the scenes and it was all fake.
Ah, absolutely. He's coming to see. He's coming to see that you can't believe everything that you see on the old internet. I'm glad you're coming to that conclusion as an 8-year-old and not believing everything as you get older. And Ada, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the kind people out in the world that took the time to listen to us and our conversation today?
As people watch YouTube, if they're allowed to in life, most things on YouTube are probably fake. Like, people can't get close to the world's biggest snakes on YouTube.
Well, Ada, I think you're I think you might be taking that a little bit too far. I think it's important to be skeptical, but I don't think it's okay to say things like almost everything on YouTube is fake. There's certainly people who get close to snakes. There's certainly people who pick the snakes up off the ground and put them in boxes or whatever the heck people do with snakes. But I think what you're trying to get at is an important point, which is be careful, especially if you're a young person and you're watching things online and you're watching things on the internet, to have a healthy dose of skepticism as you explore those things and try to figure things out for yourself as well. Do your research because it can really it can really skew your perception as a young adult or even as an adult about what's real in the world and what's truly going on. So again, kids, thanks for your perspective. Thanks for sharing a little bit about your life. Thanks for your advice and looking forward to having you on the show next time. Cheers.